OGC Nice Ultras went savage again, turning the club into absolute chaos. Jackson, stuck at Bayern, wants to escape in January. Arne Slot survives for now, but Liverpool's crisis still feels inevitable. Enzo Fernández called Chelsea crazy. RealMadrid waiting. Brew your tea, the latest football news is here. This is Top League. Let's go! The French Riviera, sun, yachts, luxury, and apparently the most unhinged ultras in all of Ligue 1? Yeah, welcome to OGC Nice, where the beaches are calm, but the fan base fights like they're in a medieval battle. After Sir Jim Ratcliffe shifted his focus to Manchester United, Nice basically turned into his side project. And the results? A disaster class. 6 losses in a row. Embarrassing defeats to Porto, Marseille, and somehow even Metz and Lorient. And in the Europa League, 0 points, 5 games, last place. A full-on bottling festival. So how do Nice Ultras react? Do they support their team? Do they stay loyal? Of course not. They go full psycho mode. Right after the Lorient defeat, midfielder Sofiane Diop tried talking to the fans. Big mistake. He got roasted alive. But the real nightmare began when the team flew back to Nice. Players were told around 200 ultras are waiting, near the training base. Okay, manageable, right? Wrong. It was over 400, all furious, all out for blood. One representative was allowed onto the team bus to calm things down. At least that was the plan. Instead, he started with threats. Straight up, get out of the bus, or this ends badly. Players stepped outside, and it went downhill instantly. Fans started screaming for the coach to resign. Then came the insults. Then came the pushing. And then, actual violence. Reports say Tara Mafi and Jeremy Boga got it the worst. Dragged by the hair, hit in the face, kicked on the ground, spat on. Completely disgusting behavior. Even sporting director Florian Maurice caught a few slaps before hiding behind security. Security, by the way, did absolutely nothing. They saw 400 ultras and basically said, yeah, nah, good luck, boys. Nice's president already met with the ultras on Monday night, probably with bodyguards everywhere. But let's be honest, after this, why would Mafi or Boga ever want to play for Nice again? This is beyond football. This is criminal. So here's the question. Can Nice ever recover from something like this? Or is this the beginning of a complete meltdown?
All right, people, let's talk about Nicholas Jackson, because the guy is in trouble. Last summer, Chelsea sent Jackson on loan to Bayern Munich. It seemed like, wow, Bayern, top club, chance to prove himself. But reality? He's sitting on the bench. This weekend, Bayern played St. Pauli. Jackson was supposed to start the match, but he ended up on the bench for most of the game. He came on, scored a goal, but it changed nothing. Why? Because there's a clause in his loan contract. Bayern are obligated to buy Jackson only if he starts or plays at least 45 minutes in 40 matches this season. How many has he played so far? 6 matches. 6. The season is going, and Jackson isn't playing, and Bayern clearly don't want to activate the mandatory purchase clause. So Jackson is now thinking, should I leave in January? Terminate the loan early? And here's what's interesting. He can play for another club this season because he didn't play for Chelsea before moving to Bayern. So technically, he's free.
But former Senegal international Ferdinand Coly gave him advice. Stay. Here's what he said. You don't turn down Bayern Munich. Yes, he knew he'd likely have a super sub role, but you can only improve when you play in a squad of such quality. He needs to do everything he can to seize his opportunity. I did read the clubs, particularly in England and Spain, are interested in him. This proves he remains highly regarded. That said,
I'm not convinced that leaving this winter would be a good solution. It would mean adapting to a new squad, a new coach, and perhaps a new country. Personally, I think it would be more beneficial for Jackson to finish the season at Bayern and then find another club if the Germans don't exercise this option and if Chelsea doesn't want to keep him. Because the World Cup is approaching, and changing clubs during the winter transfer window is a double-edged sword.
Our take? Cooley is right, but only partially. Yes, Bayern is a top club. Yes, experience is useful. But if you're not playing, what's the point? Jackson is wasting the best years of his career sitting on the bench. If clubs from England or Spain who want him now, why not go? Get playing time, rebuild confidence, show yourself before the World Cup. Staying at Bayern where they clearly don't want you, that's a waste of time. Chelsea, by the way, don't want him back either. So Jackson is in limbo. He's trapped. Bayern don't play him, Chelsea don't want him, and time is passing. January will show if Jackson has the courage to leave, because waiting until summer is a risk of losing his World Cup spot. Drop a comment. Should Jackson break free from Bayern in January, or listen to Cooley and stay? Like if you think Bayern are wrong, and subscribe because this story isn't over yet.
Arne Slot survived the storm, at least for now. Liverpool beat West Ham, and for a moment, it looked like the crisis calmed down. But let's be real, this win was anything but convincing. West Ham completely collapsed. It wasn't a real test, and it didn't silence the doubts around the Dutch coach. After the defeat to PSV, it felt like Slot was one step away from packing his bags. Fans were losing patience, pundits were firing shots, and everyone was asking the same question: is this guy actually the right fit? But then the Times dropped a huge report, and suddenly the story changed. According to their sources, Michael Edwards isn't panicking at all. In fact, he keeps repeating his favorite line: results are noise. Last week, Edwards and Slot had a long one-hour meeting, and they both agreed on one thing: Liverpool's performances are better than the results suggest. Look at the XG numbers. Liverpool should have won most of the games they lost. The underlying data is solid. The finish? Not so much. And the club understands the bigger picture. Slot is dealing with a massive list of problems. Lost to key players like Diogo Jota, a temporary confidence drop, straight-up bad luck. And the biggest factor, a squad rebuild worth £450 million. Usually this messy transition happens at the start of a coach's journey, but Slot surprised everyone by succeeding early with Klopp's inherited squad. That created unrealistic expectations. People wanted an instant super team. That's just not how football works. And here's the wild part. Edwards actually expected this slump. While the football world spent the summer hyping Liverpool as title contenders, he predicted that tough times were coming. That's why he's completely calm today. He believes Slot will push through the turbulence. But let's not pretend everything is solved. If Liverpool go on another losing streak, the pressure will come back instantly, and the owners won't wait forever. So, the real question is, will Arne Slot survive the season? Or is this just a temporary break before the next crisis?
If the Nicholas Jackson news was shocking, this next story is simply gigantic. We are talking about a potential record-breaking deal involving Real Madrid. Football Transfers is reporting a crazy scenario. Real Madrid is closely monitoring the situation of Enzo Fernández at Chelsea. Yes, the €120 million man, the World Cup winner. And let's be brutally honest, his time at Stamford Bridge has been complicated. He hasn't been bad, but has he been British record transfer good? Probably not. And now Florentino Perez smells blood in the water. Why does Madrid want him? Look at their midfield. They have power with Valverde and Camavinga. They have goals with Bellingham. But since Toni Kroos retired, they missed that controller. They missed the guy who can dictate the tempo with a single pass. Enzo Fernández was born to play that role. In the chaotic system of Chelsea, he runs around like a headless chicken sometimes. But in the structured, dominant system of Real Madrid, he could be the missing piece of the puzzle. Perez has always been a fan of Enzo, dating back to the World Cup in Qatar. He believes the Argentine is being wasted in London.
Here is where it gets spicy. How does this deal happen? Chelsea paid a fortune for him. They won't let him go cheap. However, rumors are circulating about a potential swap deal. Aurelien Tchouameni has been linked with a move away recently. Imagine a swap, Tchouameni to Chelsea, Enzo to Madrid. It sounds like video game stuff, but it makes sense. Chelsea needs a pure defensive midfielder. Madrid needs a deep-lying playmaker. Or Real could just pay cold, hard cash. Chelsea, as we know, needs to sell to keep buying. If Enzo pushes for the move, arguing that he wants to fight for the Champions League every year, Chelsea might be forced to negotiate. For Enzo, this would be a lifeline. Let's face it, Chelsea is a volatile project. Managers change, players change, the strategy changes every week. Real Madrid is stability. Real Madrid is royalty. Playing alongside his national teammates, it is a dream scenario for him. But for Chelsea fans, it would be a bitter pill to swallow. Admitting that your record signing didn't work out after just a few years, that hurts. But maybe, just maybe, it is the best move for everyone involved. Is Enzo a flop at Chelsea, or is he just in the wrong system? And would he shine at the Bernabeu? Let me know your thoughts. This transfer window is shaping up to be legendary. And that's it for today. But listen, if you don't subscribe right now, your team will get relegated from the league. I'm telling you, you'll see. Have a great day.